All right. Ladies and gentlemen, topic number 2. Before I introduce topic number 2, remember that topic number 1 was all about introducing advanced management accounting. And we said that advanced management accounting is a strategic paper, very strategic paper. This is a strategic paper. This paper, ladies and gentlemen, called Management Accounting will be helping us develop schedules. Schedules that managers will be using to make decisions. Decisions about our very future. And we would want these organizations that we are running like RCM to outlive the owners, to outlive the founders. So if you're looking for longevity, then ensure that you employ a management accountant in your organizations, because we provide what we call strategic information. And we went ahead and said, if you remember, that strategic information is not only quantitative. Strategic information must be quantitative and qualitative at the same time, for the sake of what here? Our future. If you remember very well, we said that we shall be running our organizations using the famous balance scorecard. Using the famous balance scorecard, great. Is there somebody who is able to remember the 4 perspectives there? Is there somebody who is able to remember? I'll be able to answer all your questions as we proceed. Don't worry. Let me just introduce this great topic here, and then I'll be able to answer all your questions. So in this case here, balance scorecard, we said there are 4 perspectives that you must always have all your hands on for these organizations of yours to tick like this. Is there somebody who is able to remember these 4 perspectives? Thank you so much, Paul. So we have your financial perspective. Yes, so under financial perspective, ensure that your revenues are growing and your costs are contained, or if possible, reducing. That is financial. Then we went ahead and spoke about customer. Customer perspective, we said 4 things under customer perspective, and this question is very, very common in your advanced management accounting. I can even show you, even last semester, it came. Under customer, don't write notes, I'm just doing a recap. I'm doing a recap. After all, I normally give you all the notes. I only want my students here to be writing their computations down, for us to be able to move first. All right. So for the customer perspective, I told you must get it right from 4 key areas. Is there somebody who is able to remember those 4 key areas? And I need to give somebody some money today. Those 4 key areas. Under customer perspective, we said there are 4 key areas that you must get right. Is there somebody who is able to remember? So we have here customer acquisition satisfaction. That ensure you are able to acquire customers often. New customers, the more new customers you have, the more serious you are as a CEO. Remember the customer perspective, you cannot delegate it. A good CEO like myself here, CEO at RCM, I must work hand in hand with my marketing department. I'm the chief marketer of RCM, the number 1 marketer. And that is what I would want to send you outside there to always be doing as a CEO. You must be the number 1 marketer. So ensure that the customers are being acquired at a high traffic level. Then number 2, somebody has said, we have customer satisfaction. Number 3, in this case here, somebody has said that you must ensure that in this case here, your customers are loyal to you. Every time they think of the next level of CPA, they don't think about any other college. They always think about what here? About RCM. For that matter, I would want to know whether we have any student amongst ourselves who started with us from ATD and now is doing advanced level, because I would want to, award that student. Anybody who started with ATD, and I'll be able to cross-check. ATD, the board is shaking, The board is shaking, so it must be my camera. It must be my camera. It must be my camera that has a problem. Oh, plus the teacher also dancing. All right, give me just a few minutes. Ensure that customers today, they are very loyal to you. Even when they finish their CPAs, their loyalty will never switch. They'll always be making references, sending customers your way. customers must be very loyal to you. So ensure that you have a loyalty program. Like Safaricom, for example, they have in this case here, a Zawadi, the Bonga points. Bonga points. So like, for example, RCM, we could decide that a student who has been with us from ATD level, and every time they're passing one term like that. When they go to BDA, for example, they don't pay any fees. They study for free. They study for free. Yeah, I'm going to a different studio. They study for free. Do you think that will be a very, very good program for all of you? Where we have a loyalty program like that, do you think that will be very, very good? Ah, great. Even for CPA, great. We shall overcome. Great, great. We shall overcome. So allow me to change the studios. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thanks for that. We have to ensure under the processes here, we must ensure that we are using automated systems. If it is accounting systems, don't just rely with this normal QB. As you advance as an organization, we want you to be having an enterprise resource planning system. Great system that has got various dockets of the company interrelated. All right. So in this case here, we need connectivity between the stores versus our accounting. So all this can be done very well in what we call an ERP system, which should be quite heavy, like SAP. As you grow as an organization, you can start with QuickBooks, etc. But ladies and gentlemen, the more automated your systems are, then the more you'll be able to live, the more the life you'll be able to have on earth. But if you're doing things manually, you're still collecting cash at your workplace, then automatically you'll not be able to go anywhere. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have said that here under processes, you can't run these systems nicely if you're stuck on the very old management styles. For example, you're using autocracy. You're an autocratic leader. You are a dictator. You force things through. A good leader should be inspirational. A good leader should be able to inspire, motivate employees to work without forcing things. And for you to do that, modern management systems, then you must use these kind of systems like Umbwa, management by walking around. You don't have to sit on your red chair. Your work is simply to swing around a chair as if you're a kid. All right. And then number two, your work is basically to read 3 or even 4 newspapers as if there is an exam that will come out of that newspaper. No, you need to get out there and work with these people here. Even if you're delegating, your presence has to be felt. A good manager shall always appear. You must always be there. Your presence must be felt. So we have very many management systems. For example, we have Mayos. This one will be learning in leadership and management. Yeah, Mayo system of what here running a company which is pegged on empathy. Remember, Mayo was able to do an experiment in America. It's called General Electric Company in America, GE, very big firm there. He was able to put in some ladies who are doing some sewing. It's called sewing. That's how we pronounce this, sewing, like that. So these ladies here were quite a number. So he was trying to increase the lighting in the room. So he increased the lighting, and then productivity was going up. The more the light increased, these ladies, I don't know whether that light was able to make them see things better, but the lighting inspired the production of their garments always to increase. From nowhere, we had total darkness. So in total darkness, we expected zero productivity. But trust you me, in total darkness, productivity of those ladies went up not once, not twice, but 3 times. Thrice. So then now the guy was left wondering what happened. He was at the point of saying that what matters are the hygienic conditions. That if you increase the light, if you increase the allowances of these employees, if you do these great things for them, then productivity went up. Now we have darkness, blackout. But still in darkness, when things are so dark, these ladies were able to do a lot. So then this gentleman went ahead to study what really inspired this lady desire to do a lot in dark moments. And they were able to tell this gentleman, E. Mayo is called Elton Mayo, E. Mayo. They were able to tell E. Mayo that, you know what, we had to work very hard because you are here with us. During our problematic seasons, you came and stayed with us here, and you even tried to do our work. You really motivated us a lot. So what Elton Mayo was able to discover, what matters is how you relate with these employees. How do you relate with these employees? It is empathy. You know, there is a difference between empathy and sympathy. You know, now these are not things that you can learn in financial reporting. Financial reporting, it will be about numbers, money, 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 money. But in advanced management accounting, you're saying that money can never be everything in life. There are things like empathy, which are really non-monetary, but very important, crucial in the productivity of an organization. So these are the kind of modern management systems that we need. Look at companies like Safaricom in terms of Mayo's concept. So in Safaricom, if you give birth today as a lady, Safaricom will give you how many months maternity leave? 3. When you go back to the office, what they normally do, they have a built-in some big space for these young mothers to go back to their workplaces with their children. If you wish, they don't force you. If you wish, you go back there, and they've been able to employ people to assist them there. I mean, that is what we call empathy. You see, under sympathy, you look at a poor person on the streets, you feel, yeah, you really touched. But you see, sympathy means that you don't help. You will simply pass by and say that other people will help this person. You keep on doing like that every day, and you end up not helping anybody. But you see, empathy, you place yourself in this person's shoes and feel it. And imagine if you were the one in their shoes, what would you have expected others to do for you to help you, of course? That is what big organizations like Safaricom, in this case here, they are able to do. Like at RCM, we shall give you 3 months, and then of course ask you, even if you had a role which needed you to be coming to town every day, we shall give you an extra 3 months to work from home. Let that young kid in this case here circle enough. Those are the qualitative factors that I would want you to go in these organizations as a management accountant thinking. Yeah, thinking. Qualitative, not monetary, but they can make you to stick around with the very best employees for the longest time ever. All right. So we call them what here? Modern management styles of running a company. And there are so many, and there are others which are quite old, but still very, very powerful. You can still use them to run systems efficiently. Remember, for example, Henry Fayol. You'll be learning this in leadership and management, not in AMA. Yeah, like Henry Fayol told us these 14 principles of running a company successfully. He told us to use this acronym, DAD, UC, USSR. So even if you are a lady, now when you respond, USSR is Russia, etc. When you respond, because your kid has called you dad. So now you have to use a deep bass. Dad, UC, USSR. So your answer will be, oh, I see. Oh, I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 principles of management. Yeah, discovered long time ago, but very relevant. The first principle here being disciplined workers. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how sophisticated systems you have. Even if you have acquired the most modern systems of producing goods in your company, systems of accounting in your company, and yet you have employees who are indisciplined, they can't run those systems. We need managers who are what here? Authoritative. We need employees whose areas of specialization are being recognized. I don't want to come to your organization and then get that we only have one accountant who is doing everything from payables, receivables. This guy is doing everything. No, no. Once you reach some level, would want to have, in this case, segregated systems that recognizes specialization. It's called division of labor. So the moment you have these kind of systems, then automatically the processes within the company will work. Yeah, then of course we have things like initiatives. These initiatives is all about ideation, involve employees. We don't want employees, ladies and gentlemen, who are being taken like machines in companies. No, that is what we don't want. Life is not all about just money, 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 money. No. Life, especially management accounting life, we must always think about qualitatives. And that is why in our last class, some students told me, Mwalimu, especially young girls, they will tell you that, hey, for me, I would rather always be rich. That being rich in this case here, in whichever way, is what I would want to realize. And then they went ahead and told me that, Mwalimu, you know what? I would rather be crying inside a Mercedes-Benz every day. That is against advanced management accounting, because advanced management accounting is about balancing quantitatives and qualitatives. We would want our life, quality of life to be also high. Quantitative, yes. We would also want money, but there has to be balance. So is there somebody in this case who is also subscribing to that school of thought of saying that if I'm a lady, I would rather get married to a rich man and be crying in a Mercedes-Benz every day that you can even be slapped like this so long as he has money? So long as he has money. Is that somebody? Do we have somebody who is reasoning like that? Then you will not be a very good management accountant, because management accounting is all about, we have numbers here, then we have got this non-money, non-monetary. Non-monetary. Let me read your comments. Your comments are always great. Let me read your comments here. Yeah, there are people not recording. It is recording. Thanks for that. It is recording. You mean you guys don't want money? I'm not saying that my daughters will be poor, but I would want, in this case here, quality of life. You know, there is poor quality. You see, poor quality, for example, yes, you're married to a rich man. This rich man, unfortunately, imbibes, he takes some alcohol, and then he comes into the house at 2 a.m. and then he insists that, you know what, I cannot eat cold ugali. You must start cooking everything from scratch. And you know what? I don't even eat eggs, because he knows eggs you'll be able to make very fast. So start cooking everything at 2 a.m. Even if this guy is giving me $1 million a month, I wasn't born into this world to become somebody's slave. That is what I'm talking about. So even workers, like they brought this question last semester, workers in the organization should be feeling that they are respected. It's not about you saying that you have a lot of money, now you're bulldozing things. No, user will not be affected, but the very best way is you to go to CASNEB. Please just go to CASNEB and talk to them, or open your portal and then try to make in applications and paying for exam. You'll be able to see most of those things there. The best is to go to CASNEB. Great. So FM anasema I need both, but we don't know whether this advanced itaruhusu upate mtu. That is the kind of things we're discussing here today in AM, ladies and gentlemen, that we need balanced life. Pata watu na pita advanced. We need a balanced life, yes. So don't tell me that, Mwalimu, now I'm going to get stuck for the next 1 year. I'm doing these advanced 3 papers, another 2 papers, another what, and then you lack the other side of life. No, we need to balance. We shall balance. You can't get your own money. Plan B, we shall overcome. Very good discussions. Now, from there, ladies and gentlemen, we said here, also for purposes of you running this company effectively, for us to be able to boost our financials here, we must ensure that we have got this employees perspective, what we call learning and what here, learning and innovation. And the learning, we said, please ensure that your employees are taken to classrooms to study. If, for example, you're running a college like RCM, every other year, whenever you have end of year meetings, I must put my people to task. I can see we are eating mandazi here and we are laughing, all of us, so heartily, but did you do any course within the year? Which diploma, which degree? Every other year, I would want to see you guys advancing. That is what you shall be doing as a manager, as a CEO of your company. And ensure that your team members are studying. This thing of having people who are not really, even at home, and this is where we get wrong, all of us. You'll get somebody in this case who has stayed with a maid at home. Nowadays, they call them house managers. So they've stayed with those people at home for 6 years, for 5 years, but those ninjas have never taken any course. You have never sponsored them even to driving school, even to just a first aid. You know, first aid is key in running our homes. You've never taken them even to St. John Ambulance, give them a first aid course, just in case your son or your young daughter who is 2 years old one day decides, for example, to swallow a coin or does something a bit crazy. This lady, before they take them to hospital, they should be able to administer first aid. Hii kitu ya kutaka kuwa na maid maembe, one day when you will come from work and then you realize that, for example, this maid tells you that, you know what, this kid had a high temperature, blah, 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 blah. And then you ask them, where is my kid? They tell you that they took this kid to the refrigerator. No, we need to have employees who are acquiring skills every now and then without fearing that when they acquire these great skills, they'll be able to go and form their own businesses. No, we are counting the time that we are with them at RCM. If they are well skilled, then they'll be able to live with us here, wealth of what here? Quality work that has been done. Yeah, very, very important. So learning. So I would want to take some stock here, ladies and gentlemen. We normally get checks at RCM from employers of our students. How many of you are being paid for fees by your employers? How many of you? How many of you, your employers recognize that what you're studying here is very important to them and therefore they pay fees? Yeah, Smart Bernard, I don't know whether we could have somebody from RCM who will be able to assist me answer these questions, because if this is a serious session, I would not want to mix it with those great questions. Or alternatively, can I kindly send you guys who have great questions about our fees, about our books, to this number? You can WhatsApp this. I'm not trying to be anyhow arrogant. It's because today is a studying session. And unfortunately, there are very, very few men who can multitask in this world. You can only get one man who can do two things at the same time. If I try doing two things at the same time, I will not be able to really deliver my very best. So if you've got any great question, please WhatsApp this lady or even call them. We also have an alternative number. Yeah, 0719 525,000, like that. Yeah, so thanks for asking this. Good question now. I know what they're asking there, but I would want them to answer all these questions at the end of the session. That if somebody never did management accounting, when they come to advanced management accounting, shall they be disadvantaged? No. Whenever you are given exemptions, please take up those exemptions happily and accept all of them. And then come and struggle at this higher level. And you will not be disadvantaged at all, because you can see how I'm teaching. I'm teaching from the first principles. From the very first principles. I'll not assume any knowledge. When we come, for example, to topics like variances, which are in MA and advanced MA, I will not assume that I taught this in MA. I teach everything from scratch. Always take advantage of all your exemptions. Every day, like yesterday, some student was calling me that Mwalimu was given exemptions under this foundation level. And then I decided to forfeit them. I went and did those papers. So after I've done those papers and I did all of them, I only passed in 3. Now I failed in these 3. Now can I go to CASNEP to now reclaim back my exemptions for the failed papers? Because now I feel like, CASNEP will not accept, because now you are proving to them that you are not even worthy of those exemptions. So I would rather, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, just skip them. Those exemptions, don't do them. Those papers, you have been exempted. You just come to a higher level and then we fight here. I hope that is okay. I hope that is okay. Acronym, Dad, the USSR. Thank you so much, Evans, for asking. But that one is leadership and management. You'll get that one in leadership and management. Yeah. Okay. My boss advised me about RCM, but he's not paying my fees. Please try to bring this culture to the organizations, because like what I'm teaching you here today, ladies and gentlemen, is really so important to your company. As much as employees will be gaining, but your firms are making multi-millions. What is 4,800 per paper for your organization? It can afford for sure. It can afford for sure. And please let this not be just for our employers. Even ourselves, in one way or the other, we are employers. We have those house managers. We have gardeners. Allow these people to take up some course. I was giving this talk some time back at ISPAC, and then a great lady came and told me, Mwalimu, I tried this some time back with my maid, and then my maid, because now she became very clever, snatched my husband. That was really, really a low for me. Very, very sad. Yeah, because I believe when this maid of mine has a degree or whatever, it is not these academic qualifications that will make this maid take away my husband. No, there must be other things. But I was not able to discuss those things in that meeting. I was just sorry, but I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it will be very, very important for us to ensure that the employees that we have are honing their skills. Very, very important. Yes, Mnyoki. And Mnyoki came to my office. We were not able to meet, but we shall overcome. So, under learning, if you want this organization to be up there in the longest time ever, ensure that your employees are learning. How about innovation? What do we say about innovation? What do we say about innovation? This question came last semester. Not many of you were able to answer it very well. What do we say about innovation, ladies and gentlemen? What do we say about innovation? Somebody is able to remember as I do a recap, as I go to my new topic. Innovation. Introduce new products. You can't tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that you'd want to go to what we call the blue ocean area, deepest end of the ocean, and yet you are dealing with the same products often. No, we must always do what we call diversification. Always diversify, come up with new products. And I gave you an example of EABL. EABL, I remember in 2010, they were doing some research, which I was involved. It's called agronomics. It's called agronomics. And please listen to these stories very well. You realize that CASNEB has now moved from this thing of just testing what? Testing, like the book concepts to applications. When you see them testing a question from balance scorecard, it will be applications. If it's auditing and assurance, they'll tell you, assuming that you are the head of this and this engagement team. You are the audit manager. So we're doing agronomics for EABL. Agronomics basically is the study of how a company's products can be tailored to fit or meet needs of disadvantaged groups. So for example, as RCM, if we came up with a product that we can use to train people who are blind and they understand very well, they become very good accountants, then in terms of agronometry, the society will look at us positively. It's a very, very good way of marketing. So under agronomics for EABL, they wanted to know why most of the ladies in these hotels were not consuming their products. So we went round with a questionnaire. Any place we would get a lady who was drinking water, even if it's Uji or water, we were just putting these questionnaires to them. Why are you not taking Tusker or Guinness or this one? Of course, some of them were not even feeling. I mean, that is part of research. You cannot convince everybody to give you information, to give you data. But the few who were able to turn up their questionnaires, field questionnaires to us, they complained and said, you know what, Tusker products, whatever, they are very, very bitter. That is why from 2011, 2012, they started making sweet beers. Is there anybody who can give us examples of sweet beers? Anybody who can give us examples of sweet beer? Of course, I know you guys are very much saved, but at least you should be knowing them because they advertise a lot. They advertise a lot. Yeah, like the Tusker cider, Smirnoff. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? After they brought up these sweet beers, their revenues grew, and it grew mostly from men who chose to take the sweet beers. So, of course, that tells us that there were also men who are suffering in silence. suffering silently. Yeah, that is the importance of diversification, the importance of coming up with a new pro. You always get new customers, etc. And that is why you can see EABL is very, very aggressive. And they have, if you look at the strategic plan, they would want to even diversify into these soft drinks. If you remember, they introduced, was it Alvaro? They introduced Alvaro. You remember that? Anybody who is able to remember Alvaro, which was non-alcoholic? That is the kind of management accountants I would want to produce from RCM, who are able to think about diversification. So they came up with Alvaro, but now remember, Coca-Cola is a supermarketer. Coca-Cola is ahead of EABL a million times. Coca-Cola fought Alvaro so much. And then they realized that, hey, we're not defeating now this EABL, because EABL's Alvaro, whenever they could take their trucks with this Alvaro, as if it's in Omoja, those trucks would end the same day. Alvaro became sensational. So Coke, now knowing that they cannot defeat them, they said, if you can't defeat them, what do? You join them. So Coke went ahead and poached the very best employees of breweries who were involved in this. And then they were able to produce their own drink, which is very, very similar to Alvaro. Is there someone who remembers the name of that drink? Anybody who is able to remember the name of that drink that Coke produced to counter Alvaro? Novida. And basically, they brought Novida not to win, but to neutralize Alvaro. And since the two of them now met like this, their sales actually went down. I'm 100% sure that if we do some survey here, out of the 100 and about 40 students who are in here, how many of you have took Alvaro in December? This December 2025. How many of you took Alvaro? You'll be surprised, maybe none, or even maybe one or two. Not me. So it means automatically Koch came up with this strategy and they were able to do what here? They were able to neutralize EABL with the Novida. And since then, EABL, which was very aggressively talking about soft drinks, getting into water business, opening coffee shops in these major streets, they stopped that business right away. Alvaro ni soda. Ni soda. They're no longer in the market, okay? You can see. And that is the thinking that I would want you to get outside here as management accountants to think. You know, now, intermediate management accounting is quite technical. That's for technicians. That's like ATD, accounting technicians diploma. That's technical. It had more of what here? More of like just variance. No, here we must raise our thought processes. Because a management accountant at this strategic level, you are a marketer, you are everything in these organizations. And that is why you'll already see most of your questions are more of advisory, advice, do this and this, advice. All right. But remember also EABL is very, very powerful whenever it comes to fighting their competitors. I remember one day there is a company which came, in this case here, along Thika Road. Yeah, and it came with lots of energy. It started eating onto EABL's market share. Is there somebody who could be remembering the name of that company? Which closed like after 2 years. It closed simply because of the war it received from EABL. Is there somebody who is able to remember? Castle Lager. Thank you so much. Yeah, Castle, not Pepsi. It was Castle Lager. Castle, big one. But they were fought by EABL to the point where they gave up, where they simply gave up. So the most important way of fighting out in an organization as a management accountant, ensure that you are encouraging this innovation. And innovation, we said, you must introduce at the very least 2 new products every year. At the very least, 2 new products at the very least. Like in 2026, RCM, in this case here, we are opening a new branch along Thika Road, purely for those students who would want technical courses, building construction. All right? Courses to do with cooking. So we want to target those people along Thika Road. Yeah, there's so many people around there, Roysambu, like that. Yeah, so we must always be ahead of what here, ahead of the game. Ahead of the game. Because we must be able to foresee quite far. Right now, we are seeing like the students who did this, guys who are now getting into senior schools, I mean, there are over 1 million. People are giving birth every other day. So we must be prepared to widen our net into other courses. That is the kind of message I would want to send you out there in those organizations that will be able to join the board as a management as a management accountant. Innovation, innovation. Now, the companies that you guys are working for, are they seriously innovating? Have they come up with like 2 new products last year? Please give me feedback. The companies that you guys are working for, how do you rate them? Okapedo, product formulation, okay. Next to prayer center, Thika. Oh, okay. So Winnie says our company did not innovate last year. Please take that word around. If you can even get this video and share it with your CEO. The era of saying that us, we are specializing is long gone. You can't say that you are that special for long. No. These young men will come and do whatever you're doing in a better way. If you would want to reach where we call the blue ocean, that area where there are no crocodiles, ensure that you innovate intensively. And I gave you a very, very good example. Look at Safaricom. Safaricom, the late, may the good Lord rest his soul in peace, the late, Right Honorable Odinga. This guy came and told people to resist Safaricom and other companies some time back. People were able to resist Brookside. Brookside's revenue went down by over 50%. They resisted so many companies. But in the very same year, Safaricom, that were being called upon to resist by our great gentleman, their revenue grew. Instead of it going down, it grew by over 10%. Why? It is already in the blue ocean. You can't be able to reach Safaricom with whatever competition that you have. Safaricom is already in the middle of the sea, blue ocean. It's no longer at the red ocean here, where there is a lot of fightings. You can be killed. There are crocodiles here. Competitors would want to baptize you upside down. Yeah. Safaricom already with M-Pesa. People would shut down their phones for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then you open to see whether, ladies and gentlemen, somebody has sent you M-Pesa. So there is no way you can resist companies that are very, very good in terms of what here? Innovation. If you are very good in terms of innovation, you cannot go wrong. Wow. I pushed for Zoom service that produced some millions in 2 months. That's very good in the public sector after zero budget allocation. Yes. Very good example, ladies and gentlemen, of innovation is RCM. I remember in 2019, immediately COVID struck, 2020 around there, right? We closed school. I went back to my Isinya farm. I do some farming there, sheep farming. And I need to invite you there. There are a few things you can learn from that farm. All right. So went there, knew that now everything had collapsed. Our rent that time was about 800,000 a month, heavy, because we had a branch in Westlands. We had a branch English training center in Eastleigh, doing very well. Then we had the Commonwealth House. We were auctioned in some branches. So I knew everything was down till I got this young man who told me that there is what we call Zoom. I'd never heard of Zoom at all. So I started teaching 40 minutes, in this case here, the session going off. It used to be crazy initially, Zoom. It wasn't as good as and stable as it is today. The rest is history. Because I was able to run, it's called fast mover advantage, with the ball. Now look at RCM. We can't, I mean, even Strathmore, I'm not trying to badmouth them, but they're a big university. But the numbers that they have cannot match, in terms of CPA, I mean, they cannot match the numbers that we have. That is what we call innovation. And once you get this wheel of innovations, it shall never stop. Always ensure that every time you are thinking about putting money in research and development like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope we shall be innovative in whatever that you're doing. Wow, yeah. You taught me this concept in November last year and shared with the board. And the same week, it was adopted. That is really very good. We do like 3 per month. This is very good. I would want to know the name of this company. Yeah, I would want to, share with you in that success story. Those are 3. I would want to know how you have set up your research department. How are you doing this thinking? That's my personal number. Let me write it nicely here. That gentleman who is saying they're doing like 3 per month. I would want to be associated with that company. Great. But I don't want to be associated with any company that does not do any innovations, but you're only selling spare parts, just same type of spare parts throughout. I would want very innovative people. All right. Then that Umoja shoe. Wow, okay. Yeah, Umoja shoe. I normally see them at, and they have very good shoes, yes. At TRM or something. At TRM. Let's buy their shoes. These guys are innovative. I normally see them at TRM if I'm not wrong. They'll take over Bata's business. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we were able to do in our last sitting. So now with your permission, in not last sitting, but last session, with your permission, now I should be able to introduce our today's topic, which is cost estimation. Cost estimation techniques. So this course of ours, ladies and gentlemen, is crazy. If you're able to master a few things right, you'll never regret why you chose to do CPA. It's only unfortunate that most of us see this course as a number crunching course. No, we are being called upon to be advisors outside here and be very aggressive, which I'll be able to teach you as we progress. Be very aggressive. Be better than Dr. Aura here. I'm running an audit firm. I'm running this RCM. I'm running a sheep farm. And we began in very, very small ways, but I'll be able to tell you what you should also do. Yeah, but meanwhile, please open up whatever document you've seen me sharing in the group. Nope. It has been distorted. This is distorted. I shared, I've saved it as this is not very nice. I need to save it properly. Why has it been distorted like this? My Lord, we shall overcome. I shall share it later as a Word document. But for now, let's go to topic number 2. So topic number 2 is all about cost estimations and interpretations. So here they want us to teach you 3 key things: the ordinary least squares method, also known as regression analysis. All right. Then we have a high-low method. Then we have what we call learning curves. Only 3 things we finish. 3 things we finish. I repeat, they want us to teach you regression analysis. Number 2, they want us to teach you what we call learning curves, and then the high-low method. So like now, 2 of those, we did them last semester in management accounting, but I will not assume any knowledge. Actually, whatever you know, just know that you know it wrongly because you're starting everything from scratch. So under ordinary least squares method, ladies and gentlemen, I would want us to use this example, which was tested in Advanced Management Accounting, November 2017, question number 2B. November 2017, question number 2B. They gave us this table. And then they want us to estimate the total cost and, of course, break it down into fixed and variable elements using the following methods. The first one is high-low. The second one is least squares method. I would want to begin with least squares method. I finish it. Least squares method. So mentioned there, cost estimation techniques, topic number 2. Cost estimation techniques, topic number 2. Cost estimation techniques, topic number 2. And then you mentioned there regression analysis. Regression analysis. Quite a short, very short topic, very nice topic. And it must come in your exams. It must come in your exams. Must come in your exams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, one of the key roles of a management accountant is cost ascertainment. We must be very good in ascertaining costs of the products that we are producing so that they can be sold at the right price. Otherwise, if you don't have a management accountant who is doing cost ascertainment, you could be selling your products at a loss. Perhaps the true cost is 1,000, but you're selling them at 800. You end up making losses. So the very best way of ensuring that your management accountant is able to do cost ascertainment correctly is if they're very good in cost estimations. They're able to project. They're able to predict. So under cost estimation method, we shall start with the first one, which is regression analysis. Also known as the method of ordinary least squares. Method of ordinary least squares, OLS. Method of ordinary least squares, OLS. AKA stands for also known as. Also known as the method of ordinary least squares, OLS. And then remember, from our syllabus, we are supposed to, in this case here, to study two key areas here. Two key areas here. We have in this case here what we call simple regression equations. And then B, they want us to teach you how to do multiple regression equations. Multiple regression equations. But for your exams, this one, they would want you to compute the simple regression parameters. For this one, they'll give you what we shall be calling a computer output. A computer output. And then they ask you to interpret. All right? So then I will straight away go to your examination focus area. We talk about simple regression analysis. So start with this one here. Simple regression equations here. These are basically equations of the form y equals a plus bx. Equations of the form y equals a plus bx, we call them simple. Why do we call them simple? It's because they have one predictor variable. It's because they have one predictor variable dash x. Only one. You see, when you start talking about y equals a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2, now this will be called multiple. Multiple because these x's are many. But now we are looking at the simple ones where we have, ladies and gentlemen, just one predictor variable x. So these are equations of the form y equals a plus bx. Like in this question of 2017, where the examiner told us to make a regression equation estimate. When they tell you to form a regression equation, they simply want you to get the value of A and the value of B. Is there somebody now? Of course, we want to see whether students are able to remember as I write this equation nicely. Is there somebody who is able to remind us the formula of getting B, the regression formula of getting B? B equals, let me see. That's why I keep on telling you that it's important for us not to assume any knowledge because most of them are forgotten. B equals rho. That formula. And everybody has to cram it. After I write it down, everybody must cram it. Everybody must cram it. A over x, no. Abraham, thanks, but no. There's a special formula for getting this B that shall be calling the gradient. We shall be calling the gradient. So B will be equal to who? change in y over change in x, that is great, but too simplified. There is a formula, regression formula for getting b. Can I remind you a little bit? Is there somebody who is able to remember something like this? N summations of x, y. Anybody who is able to remember something like that? N summations of x, y minus, let me give you a time, write the numerator alone. Write the numerator alone. Write the numerator alone. You can use E for sum. I'll be able to understand. You can use capital E for sum. Capital E for sum if you don't know where it is. N summations of xy minus summation of x, summation of y. That is the numerator. How about the denominator? How about the denominator? Abracadabra, life is good. Abracadabra, life is good. Abracadabra, life is good. N summations of xy minus summations of x, summations of y. All over, I need to give somebody a present. I haven't given a present yet. I haven't given yet a present. And summations of x squared minus brackets, summations of x done what here? Squared. Can all of us in this case here write this, knowing very well that b, remember, b is the gradient. B is the gradient. B is the gradient. The one in the normal mathematics, we normally talk of change in y over change in x. But for regression, this will be the regression equation for getting the value of boy, the gradient. So it doesn't matter whether you never did MA or if you did MA 30 years ago, it doesn't matter. We are starting this thing from scratch. So have you written down the formula? Have they written down this formula? Oh yeah. Have they written down this formula? Have they written down this formula? Have they written down this formula? Yes. So then I'll be able to give you a simple question here that has got 3 points first of all. So we have here x, we have y. So this is 10, 13, 19. This is 12. Yeah, 12.5 and maybe 15 like that. So you're given 3 points like this, and then you're needed to give us boy, to give us the gradient using regression analysis. You see, the one you're telling me to use B is change in y over change in x, ladies and gentlemen. This is only applicable whenever you have only 2 points. If the points are very many, the only way of coming up with a straight line of best fit is regression analysis. And the formula here, you have to cram it. If you go to an exam not remembering it, you'll be in trouble. So it means that for us to be able to do that, we need to introduce 2 columns. These ones here, not here. We need to introduce a column of xy, and then we need to introduce x squared there. Those 2 columns must be introduced. So xy means tata, 10 times 12, this is 120. How about this 13 times 12.5? Please give me an answer. And I hope you're writing this as your first illustration before we do the past paper question. So this gives me 162.5. 162.5. Then we have 19 times 15. 19 times 15. 19 times 15. So that gives me 285. 285. 285. And then we shall be able to go to x squared. So remember, x squared, it is this x multiplied by itself. So it is 10 squared, that gives me 100. 13 squared gives me what figure? Is it 169? 13 squared gives me 169. And then now lastly, we have 19 squared. So 19 squared gives us 361. And then now remember that this regression is a sigma model. Sigma. Sigma means you come and add up. So you come here and give us sigma x. Give us an answer. Give us sigma y. Give us an answer. Give us sigma xy and the sigma x squared. We start with the sigma x. So sigma x you are adding. Sigma x you are adding. Sigma x you are adding 10 plus 13 plus 19. Sigma means add. Sigma. 42. Thank you so much. Then we go to y. You are taking this plus this plus this. So nicely you give me an answer. So I have in this case here from Quinta, Linda, 39.5. So this is 39.5. How about this sigma xy? 120 plus 162.5 plus 285. What are we able to get? And then we forgot something very, very important that I shall never forget again. In all my classes, Muslim prayer time. It keeps on changing in the evening. Muslim prayer time we must always observe. So please, always, the Muslim brothers and sisters who are around, whenever it comes to that it's about 5 minutes. You simply tell me that Mwalimu, prayer time, and I'll be able to post immediately. Sorry for today. 567.5. Then we have sum of x squared. So sum of x squared is 630. 630. Let me ask you a simple question here. They want us to use n. What do you think in this case here is our n, and what is the value of n? N stands for number of points. 1, 2, 3 points. There are 3 points. N is 3. The number of points, 3. So then can you kindly do me a favor? If you can try this, I'll be very happy. Try to substitute yourselves and then you give me the final answer of B. Try to substitute yourselves and then you give me the final answer of B. I'll be able to show you in another class how to get these sigmas using a calculator. But today, I just want to show you how to do it manually. So somebody should be able to run with this ball and give us the value of boy. The value of boy. You are substituting now that you have got everything. Cyprian, great to see this Cyprian lady. Very nice lady. Very nice lady. So try to substitute. Even if you don't get it, so what? So long as you've tried. So our B will be equal to n. Number of points, you've told me n is 3. 3 times sum of xy. It is here. Sum of xy is here. 567. 567.5. Minus summation of x alone. Summation of x is here. 42 times summation of y. Summation of y is here, 39.5 all over n again, 3 times summations of x with square. Summation of x with square is 630. Remember, I'm not saying you take this x to square. No, it is here. Summation of x squared, already I have it. So 630 minus summation of x alone. Summation of x alone, 42. And then you do what here? You square. Then now here you have to go very, very slow. I can see guys who have already gotten this figure, 0.3. We have to go very slow here. Are you able to give me the numerator value? Numerator value. 3 times 562, 3 times 567.5 minus 42 times 39.5. Give me an answer I write here. Give me an answer I write here. Numerator 43.5. I hope everybody is able to get this. Numerator 43.5. Thank you so much. Denominator, I'm being given a figure of 126. Thank you so much. Then now we can comfortably get the quotient, isn't it? We can now very comfortably get the quotient. Quotient means that you're dividing. We are dividing. Then you can write to how many decimal places? 4. 4 is good. 4 is good. 4 decimal places will give us a higher level of accuracy. 0.3, 0.3452. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we have been able to get the value of B. But I would want your confirmations from all of you. Are we together up to here? Are we together up to here? Thank you so much. Then let's go ahead and get the value of A. As I look for this formula of A, is there somebody who is able to remind us the formula of A? How do we get the A value? Formula of A. My students, check this out. A. Yeah, they've already gotten it. They are telling me, Mwalimu, this is the easiest. Take summation of y minus the b that you got, summation of x, and then everything you divide by n. Everything you divide by n. Then you come, ladies and gentlemen, here, summation of y, already we have it somewhere. Here, 39.5, 39.5, minus boy that you have just given me here, 0.3452, times summation of x, which is this one, 42. And then you come and divide this by n. N which happens to be 3. Aka usikachezea haka, aka neka wanafunzi chini haka, because students are not able to remember the body mass concept. Students are not able to remember the body mass concept. If you want peace, ensure that first of all you get the numerator, you write it down. If you want peace, ensure that first you get the numerator and then you write it down. Is there someone who is able to give me the numerator here, ladies and gentlemen? Numerator first, 39.5 minus 0.3452 times 42 equals, divide by 3. Divide by 3. I'm being given by Abdi Sirati, 25.0016, like that. We divide this by 3, which will end up now giving us what figure? Which will end up giving us what figure? So in this case here, this R will be 8.3339. A. And having gotten this, don't forget our objective was to get the value of A, where y equals A plus bx. Our y will be equal to A, that now we happen to be having as 8.339 plus B. B that we have 0.3452, x like that. X like that. So that is the answer. This is the answer. This is the answer. I got lost. Where will this video be posted after class is over? We normally have a learning management system. A learning management system. Yeah, you should be able to get the video there. Again, don't get lost without speaking. I wish you spoke much earlier. When you start realizing that the speed is a bit high, you simply say your speed is high, reduce the speed, and then you shall be able to pick you up. But this is a simple thing. Fortunately, I'll be doing another example immediately after this. So don't even get out of the room. Yeah, so then this is really great. Great. Now then, can we kindly go to this question that was tested in November 2017? So this question they gave us all the time they give us very easy questions. So November 2017, question number 2B, Actros Limited, a subsidiary of Master Pack Limited, a packaging company, is preparing a budget for the year ending 30th June 2018. In respect of fuel consumption, the company desires to estimate an equation in the form of y equals a plus bx, where y is the total expense at an activity level x, a is the fixed cost, and b is the variable cost. So the following information they have given us: machine hours, they've given us fuel expenses, all through. Yeah. Then they want us to estimate the fixed and variable components using least squares regression. I want us to start with least squares regression. Least squares regression. Now, the first thing that you need to do is to copy this table. You don't have to copy the month. You simply copy these machine hours and the fuel expenses. Copy slowly. There is no harm. Just copy this very slowly. But as I copy this, I would want somebody to tell me between the two, which one is the y variable? Which one will I take to the y? Because if you confuse that, you get a 0. Which one do I take to the y variable? To be the y variable? Yeah, you know, you are doing cost estimation. They want us to estimate fuel expenditure. They want to be estimated will go to the y. So fuel will be our y. Machine hours will be our x. So always for us, costs will go to the y. So we have 34 30, 34, 39, 42, 32, 26, 32, 26, 26, 31, 35, 43, 35, 43, 48. And then you go to the Y. So Y we have 640, 620, 620 again, 590, 500. So we have 530, we have 500, 500, 530, 550, 580, 550, 580, and then 680, like that. So they want us, number 2, to give them a regression equation. So number 2, they want us to give them a regression equation. Yeah, thank you so much, John Bosco. You're really doing a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great. Great. And then, of course, you can as well give us a call. Give us a call. She'll be able to guide you on the admission procedure. All right. 8 new messages. Yeah, thank you so much. A good question is being asked there, which is my next area in a different type of setup. How will you be able to know the Y and the X? So I'll be able to come to that in my next question, because you shall be able to know which one is the responding variable, which one is a response variable. The one that responds, the dependent variable will go to the Y, and I'll be able to show you very quickly. Yeah, so if, for example, you're given advertising versus sales. So I know that the more aggressively you advertise, the higher the sales. So sales revenue will be the response, and response goes to the Y. But let's not mix so many issues at the same time. This one was quite straightforward. Cost estimation. We're estimating a cost here known as a fuel expenditure. The one to be estimated goes to the Y. If it's regression analysis, you must come up with 2 columns which are very important. You must come up with the XY column, and then we have X squared. And then now the summations down there. So I'll give you 1 minute. Yeah, the same concept that we did in MA, same concept, yes, same concept. Student who got lost, it's very easy. You see, when we say XY, you are taking this times this. Can somebody give me this number? I write this number here just for the sake of following. 34 times 640. Let me know how much are we getting here. 21, quite an ugly figure. 21, 760. So please finish filling up all the others, like 30 times that, etc. And then when you come to the X squared. So X squared, you take this 34. In the calculator, there is a squared function. You say 34 squared. Can somebody in this case here come and give me this number here? 34 squared, 1150 what here? So please finish all of them up. And then as usual, as my very good students, come and give me these sums. Give me the sum of X. Give me the sum of Y. Give me the sum of XY. Give me the sum of X squared, please. So here your speed will be able to help. Your speed will be able to help. Thanks for asking. This is November 2017, question number 2, B and C. So November 2017, basically question number 2. All right, now I believe all of us have these figures. So summation of x alone is 420. Summation of x is 420. How about summation of y? Summation of y, I cannot see it, 6820. 6820. Summation of xy, 235,000. 235,000. 235,000. Oh, no, they're different. 241,670. Please check. 241,670. 241,670. I hope you used your values from your past papers because my value here could be a bit wrong. Summation of x squared, 14,692. 14,692. This one, 14,692, like that. Now, my good students, having gotten those figures correctly, to get now B, it's all about writing down the formula. So come here and write down the formula. How do we get B? It is n summation of xy, summation of x, summation of y, over n summation of x squared, bracket sum of x squared, like that. I forgot to count my n. I forgot to count those rows. I believe you guys were able to count those rows, those points. How many are they? I'm being told they're 12. So 12 times summation of xy, I have it, 241, 670, minus summation of x, 420, times summation of y, 6820. 6820, all over n again, n which is 12, times summation of x squared, 146.92. 146.92 minus into bracket summation of x as you see it here, 420, and then you do what here? You square. So now here you have to move slowly. First of all, give us the numerator. First of all, give us the numerator. Sally, x squared is 15. Oh, x squared I'm being told is wrong. Oh, this x squared I'm being told is wrong. It's wrong. That x squared, sorry for that, is supposed to be 15, 212. Sorry for that. X squared. This x squared is wrong. This x squared is wrong. It's supposed to be 15, 212 like that. 15, 212 like that. So I hope every other thing is correct. Summation of y, they're saying also is wrong. Summation of y. Summation of y, 6840. 6840. Thank you for that. Sorry for that. Summation of y is 6840. Sorry for that. I have so many mistakes. Sorry. 6840. Now I think everything is well aligned. Now please go ahead and give me this numerator. You say 12 times 241, 670 minus 420 times 6840. Give me an answer. Already Robert, my friend, has been able to give me the final answer. I have Lucy, 27, 240. Alex is saying that this is 6950. Let's confirm this summation of y. What is your summation of y? What is your summation of y first of all? Let's confirm this. Perhaps one of my numbers could have been wrong, but the concept, so long as you have the concept, that is it. The concept. So 27, 240. 27, 240. How about the denominator? How about the denominator? 6144. Denominator is 6144, like that. Somebody confirm whether the denominator is 6144. Can somebody confirm whether the denominator is 6144? Thank you so much. Then go ahead and give me the quotient. The quotient is our B. Go ahead and give us the quotient. The quotient is our B. The quotient is our B, and somebody is telling me that Mwalimu, this is 4.4. 4.4336. Put 4 decimal places. 4.4336. 4.4336. 4.4336 is correct. Thank you so much. So then, having gotten B, we can very easily get the value of A. How do we get the value of A? To get the value of A, my good students, to get A, it is summation of Y minus B, summation of X, all over N. So to get A, it is summations of Y minus B, summations of X, all over N. So summations of Y, do we have these summations of Y? Oh, yes, we do. It is 6840 minus B that you've just given me here, 4.4336, multiplied by summations of X. Summations of X, you gave me a figure. Summations of X, you gave me a figure. Summations of X, you gave me 420. All over our N, which is 12. So can you kindly go ahead and give me the numerator? I always like numerator being ascertained separately. Thank you so much, Pius Nyaga. I can remember you very well. Sirata, I can remember very well. Salima Saku must be a new student at RCM. Even Bella must be a new student at RCM, but I really appreciate all of you. So the numerator is 497788. The numerator here is 49. 497788 over 12. The numerator is 497788. 794788, like that. Yeah, all over 12. So then are you able to give me the value of A? Are you able to give me the value of A? So A, according to Penina, is 414.824. 414.824. Please write up to there. There could be a slightly rounding off errors, but it doesn't matter really. It doesn't matter really. It doesn't matter really. 414.824. They're agreeing. 414.824, like that. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once you get that, never forget to write, even if the examiner has not asked you, you should always write the equation. So our y, the equation, our regression equation, our y equals a plus bx, like that. That is our y. Y equals a plus bx, yes. Therefore, our y will be equal to a which is 414.824 plus b which is 4.4336, x, like that. That's our y. Yeah, so remember, this term here, this a constant, is fixed cost. Yeah, and this one is the variable cost per hour. Variable cost per hour. Variable cost per hour, like that. Variable cost per hour, like that. So let me know whether up to here, are we together now? Especially the student who told me that the first illustration, they never got it very well. I believe now this is perfect now. And they have brought this kind of a question many times, so it shall not be scaring you at all. So you see, they were putting these figures here to confuse you. Yeah, the annual, total, and monthly averages, they were putting them here to confuse you. Yeah. So then look at C. From the information in the above, the coefficient of determination arising is approximately 0.25. Interpret the significance of this information. Hili nani? All right. So now they've given us the coefficient of determination as 0.25, and they want us, ladies and gentlemen, to comment. So right there, coefficient of determination. Coefficient of determination. You see, we have coefficient of correlation, coefficient of determination. This is coefficient of determination. What we shall be abbreviating as R squared. R squared. R squared. So this is the explained variance proportion. This is the explained variance. Explained variance proportion. Explained variance proportion. The higher it is, the better the model is for prediction purposes. So the optimal one, the very best, should be R squared is 100%. If you're going to have R squared being 100%, then that will be very, very good. That will be perfect. That is optimal. That is optimal. So the lower it is, the poorer the model. So remember, like, if you remember very well, if you're old enough, of course, I know most of you are very, very new, very, very young. Most of you could be like 19 years, 21. So you know nothing about politics in this country. So in those earlier days, we used to have companies like Sinovet that used to give us predictions. And all the times in this case, they were predicting that Raila Amolo Odinga would win. And they were always saying that their margin of error was 5%, but they never got it right. Because every time they're telling us Raila will win, he ended up losing. So it means that their coefficient of determination was really low. I'm so sure some of you will bring out factors like there were theft of elections. That one we know. But now for teaching purposes here, we must assume, in this case here, a model which is excellent. Yeah. So in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, I can already see people are starting. Don't take directions. Don't take sides here. No. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when in this case here you have a model that gives you wrong predictions all the time, know that there are many, many factors out there that have been left, including that stealing of elections. It's a factor which was left out of the model. Otherwise, a good model that is able to bring in so many other factors into the model here, for us to have an explained variance of 100%, then that is the perfect model you're talking about. So, like in this particular case, ladies and gentlemen, we have R squared of 25%. R squared of 25%. So we have here R squared of 25%. R squared is 25%. This is very low. This is very low. This is very low. A very poor model. It's a poor prediction model. So this is a poor prediction model. Whatever it gives you, it shall be in the opposite direction. Just like in how football, you'll have in this case here, a footballer punches the ball to the left, and then the goalkeeper dives the other way. When you have a model having an R squared that is very, very low, that will end up giving you wrong results. Don't, in this case here, depend on that model so much. So this means that the predictor variables can only explain 25% of the variances of the model. Explained variance proportion. So this means This means that the predictor variable, which in this case here stands for machine hours, can only explain 25% of the response variable, full stop. So what does this imply? That it is not only machine hours that is affecting fuel expenditure. There must be other variables that are accounting for 75%, which are not within the model, i.e., there are other factors. There are other factors accounting for 75%, to make it 100. 75% that are not in this model. So I will not recommend this model for prediction purposes. It's a bad model. So whenever you hear about coefficient of termination, you should always remember that this is the explained variance proportion. The higher it is, the better. If it is very low, then we shall not recommend that model for purposes of what here? For purposes of prediction. Prayer 10 minutes. Actually, we have finished. Sorry for that. We have actually finished. For Muslim prayers, okay, yeah, we have actually finished. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my prayer that you have understood whatever we have learned today. And you shall be able to put it into applications by doing questions in. I'll be able to guide you on WhatsApp group. Which other questions shall you do before we meet? So we shall be meeting thrice a week. I'll look at my timetable after this. I'll be able to tell you when we introduce a third session, just like how we did last semester. The third session was critical for revision. Third session is where we come to just punch past paper questions. So if there are very, very new students here in this virtual meeting, do not hesitate to join RCM College today for our CPA classes. We are the best in the industry. And this is our number. Otherwise, be blessed big time. And I would want to take this opportunity to wish everyone here a happy new year. 2026 will be the year that we are finishing this CPA up to K. 2026, because we are passing our 3 papers or 4 papers this April. August, we are passing the other paper remaining. Yeah, and then we do BDA. 2026, we are clearing this. 2026, you should be able to get better jobs. So you don't have a job, you should be able to get a job. So this should be a blessed year for all of us. Thank you so much. Happy New Year and a good night. Bye. Can I still sit for compulsory papers together? Yes, it's allowed. You can sit for 5 papers. You can sit for the 4 compulsory plus any one of the optional. If, for example, you're only doing 1 paper, for example, tax, no. Then you have a chance of doing what we call double specialization. You double specialize because in the future you would want to run your audit firm. So how do you run your audit firm without AAA? They'll not give you a license. All right. So those are the kind of things you need to be knowing. And that is why so many students come to RCM for that kind of advice. Otherwise, yeah, you can do double specialization. They talk of double specialization. You can only do maximum of 2. They're allowed. But again, if you do only 1 this semester, yeah, go ahead and do BDA. After you finish your BDA, you can come back and do the other specialization. They allow double specialization later, even after finishing your CPK. They allow. But if you have some resources, you can go ahead and do double specialization. Can you buy 2 only? Can you book 2 only? No. Minimum. If, for example, you're starting from scratch, minimum is 3. Minimum is 3 papers, but now remember you can book for 3. But when you go to exams, you absent yourself from 1. So you lose your examination fees. I've always seen people doing that. And I always tell my students, don't kill yourself. Let money work for you. Let this money that is getting lost work for you. It allows you to book for the other two papers, and then don't pay tuition fee for this paper because you'll not be doing the exam, you'll be absent. And then you concentrate with these two. This for those very busy people. You're busy at your workplace, you're busy in this case here in marriage. You know, marriage is quite demanding with kids. I mean, not it's crazy to be a parent and studying. It's not easy. It's not easy. All right. And then, ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, you'll be making progress. This thing of booking 5 papers and you are busy, where I've been in this industry for so long, I've seen people getting into depression. They're swallowing antidepressants. I don't want my students to reach that level. You're my sons, you're my daughters. If you get depressed, who will be able to assist me in the future? Who will be able to push this name of RCM to university status in the near future? CASNEB is not going anywhere. If you know you are not, you can only combine. I normally tell my students, you can only do like 5 papers at once. If, for example, you are a full-time student, you don't know how the food you are eating, how it is coming, your parents are footing up everything on your behalf, then you are a very, very good candidate to do 5 papers. Or if, for example, you're working for government, you see government, by the time you're reaching around 4, 5 p.m., you're free. And then the whole of Saturday, you're not working. You see, if you've got those 2 weekend days free, then you can combine. But ladies and gentlemen, if you know you are in a busy role, don't kill yourself. CASNEB is not going anywhere. As RCM, of course, we know that we are a profit-making company. Would have wished you to do all the papers and you pay us a lot of, but again, you're looking at your future. We want you to be happy as you're doing this thing. Like the other day, I was getting a gentleman in town. This gentleman could not even see me clearly. Yeah. You know, like near exams, your 5 papers. I mean, Mwalimu is even forcing himself on your way to just stay high because all your mind, is in these exams. No, I shall not work like that. CASNEB has been there for the last 50 years. It's not going anywhere. I can do even 2 papers this time around, like in next 2. So long as there is a progression. What you don't want is mark timing. When you're mark timing, you know, a soldier mark timing. Yeah, you're only making up and down steps like that, but you're not moving anywhere. Great. Thank you for that question. Is topic 2 done? No. So topic 2, we still have what we call high-low method and learning curves. One more session I'll be done with topic number 2. And then, of course, I have to show you in the next class the computer output reading of this. Very easy, but 1 or 2 classes maximum done. Thank you for those great questions. And if you don't mind, because I have another class, we have to end it there. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope you'll be able to preach RCM's gospel. Bye.